Today I'd like to read an excerpt from John Hoffman from the Discerning History website. The link is in the description of this video. Two men stood back to back at the stake. As a large crowd watched, a heavy chain was passed around their waists to hold them fast. A faggot was kindled, and at the sight of the flame the older of the two men gave utterance to the noblest and shortest sermon he ever gave in his long life of preaching. "Be of good comfort, Master Ridley, and play the man. We shall see this day light such a candle by God's grace in England as I trust shall never be put out." These lines have become among the most famous lines in English church history. The chain that bound Latimer and Ridley together on that morning of the October 16th, 1555, has continued to bind them together in the common mind. The elder of the two men was Hugh Latimer. He was 70 years old when he was burned alive as a martyr of the gospel. Latimer's life was already well spent, and Old Father Latimer, as he was known, had already lit a candle in England that would never go out. Latimer and Ridley were amongst the many martyrs burnt alive for holding to Protestant faith under Queen Mary I in the 1500s. There are so many stories like this of people who profess faith boldly but are persecuted and even killed. Though we do not see so much in our country today, we do have persecution where freedom of speech is curtailed to please the majority. As a modern churchgoer, it's hard to contemplate such evil, yet it still exists, and the forces that wanted to extinguish light still rage in subtler forms in the West and more horrific forms elsewhere in the world. Paul faced a church that was becoming boastful and prideful, thinking they had already attained the pinnacle of Christian life. In chapter 4 of 1 Corinthians, he challenges that perspective with his own life as an example. How do we avoid such pride and boastfulness? How do we face persecution subtle and horrific? Join us on Sunday as we take a look at the next chapter of Church Behind the Face Mask.